C. Stop immediately and ask how they want it propped. D. Tell them they must finish. C. A resident tells you, "I feel like no one cares about me." What is the best response? Of course we care. Stop thinking that. B. You shouldn't feel that way. C. I'm sorry you feel like that. Do you want to talk about it? D. Ignore the comments. C. A resident from a different culture refuses a meal because it contains pork. What should you do? Tell them they must eat it. B. Make them feel guilty. C. Offer an alternative meal if available. D. Throw away the tray and leave. C. A resident asks you, "Will my cancer get worse?" What is the best response? Give them your opinion. B. Tell them probably. C. Change the subject. D. Tell them you will notify the nurse. D. You overhear two CNAs laughing about a resident in the hallway. What should you do? Join the conversation. B. Walk away and report the behavior. C. Record them on your phone. D. Ignore it completely. B. A resident asks you to read a private letter they received. You should A. Read it aloud exactly as written. B. Paraphrase it. C. Refuse. D. Throw it away. A. A resident becomes embarrassed because they had an incontinent episode. What is the most respectful action? A. Make jokes. B. Act annoyed. C. Reassure them and assist with dignity. D. Tell other staff members. C. A family member asks you for detailed medical updates about the resident. What should you say? A. Sure, let me explain everything. B. Ask the resident yourself. C. I can notify the nurse to speak with you. D. I'm not allowed to say anything at all. C. A resident begins crying during care and says, I just miss my husband so much. What should the NA do? A. Tell them to stop crying. B. Just finish care silently. C. Pause and sit with them if time allows. D. Leave the room. C. A resident prefers to pray before each meal. What should you do? A. Roll your eyes. B. Tell them prayers aren't allowed. C. Give them privacy or participate only if invited. D. Rush them to finish. C. A resident tells you, "Don't tell anyone, but I feel like hurting myself." What is your first action? A. Promise to keep the secret. B. Ignore it. C. Report it to the nurse immediately. D. Tell other residents. C. You walk in to give care and see a resident changing clothes. What should you do first? A. Walk right in. B. Close the door and wait. C. Call housekeeping. D. Yell their name. B. A resident refuses to get out of bed, saying, "I don't feel like it today." What's your best action? A. Force them up. B. Say fine and leave. C. Ask why and offer encouragement. Report refusal. D. Take away their breakfast. C. A resident tells you that their roommate keeps taking their belongings. What should you do first? A. Tell them to fight back. B. Ignore it. C. Report concern to nurse. D. Blame the family. C. A resident says, "I don't want that male aide helping me shower." What is the best NA's response? A. Tell them they don't have a choice. B. Tell them to deal with it. C. Respect their preference and notify the nurse. D. Laugh at the request. C. During care, a resident begins breathing fast and clenching the bed rails. They whisper, "I'm scared." What should you do first? A. Ignore it and continue. B. Tell them you're fine. C. Stop care and calmly ask what they're feeling. D. Turn on the TV. C. A resident with limited English nods yes, but looks confused when you give instructions. What should you do? A. Continue with care. B. Speak louder. C. Use simple words and demonstrate. D. Make fun of them. C. A resident tries to tell you something, but they have expressive aphasia. What is the best approach? A. Get frustrated. B. Finish their sentences. C. Give them time and use yes/no questions. D. Walk away. C. A resident's daughter demands to see her mother's chart. What should the NA do? A. Hand her the chart. B. Say charts are secret. C. Notify the nurse immediately. D. Tell her to ask the doctor. C. A resident insists their medication is wrong and refuses to take it. What is the NA's role? A. Tell them to take it. B. Give it to them later. C. Report to nurse. D. Put it in their food. C. A resident from another culture refuses eye contact during conversation. What should you do? A. Force eye contact. B. Assume they're lying. C. Recognize this may be cultural. D. Report to security. C. During care, a resident says, "Don't call me Miss Jones, call me Angelica." What should you do? A. Refuse. B. Laugh. C. Honor this preference. D. Use only their legal name. C. A resident is angry and yelling because their breakfast is late. What should you do first? A. Yell back. B. Ignore them. C. Acknowledge their frustration and apologize. D. Walk out. C. A resident's son asks, "How much longer will my dad live?" What should you say? A. About a week. B. He is getting worse. C. I can't give medical information, but I can get the nurse for you. D. I don't know, stop asking. C. The resident says, "Can you close the curtains? I feel exposed." A. Tell them to wait. B. Close curtains immediately. C. Say no one cares. D. Laugh. B. You notice a resident crying quietly in their wheelchair. When asked, they say, "I feel lonely." What is your best action? A. Tell them to cheer up. B. Sit and talk with them briefly if time allows. C. Ignore them. D. Tell them everyone is lonely. B. A resident points to their lower abdomen and says, "It hurts really bad." What should you do? A. Ignore it. B. Tell them it's gas. C. Report the pain immediately. D. Give them a hot pack yourself. C. You see another aide talking harshly to a resident with dementia. What must you do? A. Wait until later. B. Report the behavior immediately. C. Pretend you didn't hear. D. Joke about it. B. A resident says, "I want to see my care plan." What should you do? A. Tell them it's not allowed. B. Tell them it's the nurse job. C. Hand it to them yourself. D. Hide the document. A resident's roommate tells them to shut up whenever they talk. What should you do? A. Tell them to fight back. B. Ignore it. C. Report the behavior to the nurse. D. Tell both to work it out. C. A resident who is hard of hearing keeps nodding yes to everything you say. What would you do? A. Assume they understand. B. Speak from another room. C. Check understanding by asking them to repeat the instruction. D. Stop talking. C. A resident hands you their wallet and says, "Hide this for me." What should you do? A. Put it in your locker. B. Keep it at the nurse's station. C. Encourage them to lock it in facility storage. D. Take it home. C. A resident says angrily, "You people never listen to me." What's your best response? A. Calm down. B. That's not true. C. I want to understand. What's going on? D. Walk away. C. A resident refuses a bed alarm, saying it annoys them. What should you do first? A. Turn it off permanently. B. Argue with them. C. Explain its purpose and notify the nurse. D. Ignore their refusal. C. A resident says, "Don't tell my daughter, I'm sick." The daughter later asks, "Is my mom okay?" What should you say? A. Your mom is very sick. B. I can't share medical information, but I can get the nurse. C. Ask someone else. D. She told me not to tell you. B. A resident with dementia start crying suddenly and can't explain why. What is your best first step? A. Walk out. B. Tell them to stop. C. Offer comfort and check for discomfort, pain, wet brief, hunger. D. Turn on TV loudly. C. A resident accuses a CNA of stealing their ring. What should the CNA do first? A. Argue with the resident. B. Get angry. C. Report the accusation to the nurse. D. Laugh. C. A resident with vision loss needs directions. What is the best communication method? A. Point to objects. B. Say over there. C. Use simple and descriptive phrases. Your cup is in front of your right hand. D. Yell. C. A resident gets angry during toileting, says, "You're too slow." What should you do? A. Rush quickly. B. Get annoyed. C. Stay calm and explain each step. D. Leave them alone. C. A resident requests different CNA for personal care. What should you do? A. Take it personally. B. Ignore them. C. Respect their preference and tell the nurse. D. Tell them they don't get to choose. C. A resident tries to give you $20 as a gift. What should you do? A. Accept it. B. Ask for more. C. Politely decline and explain policy. D. Hide it. C. A resident says don't tell anyone, but the nurse was mean to me. What is your responsibility? A. Keep it secret. B. Pretend you didn't hear. C. Report it to the nurse manager. D. Ask other CNAs. C. A resident's roommate keeps playing loud music even after the resident asks them to stop. What should you do first? A. Tell the residents to deal with it. B. Tell the roommates to leave. C. Mediate respectfully and notify nurse. D. Turn off the music forcefully. C. A resident confides, I think my son is stealing from me. What should you do? A. Ignore it. B. Tell them they're wrong. C. Report it to the nurse. D. Investigate yourself. C. A resident refuses to participate in activities today. What should you do? A. Force them. B. Shame them. C. Ask if they'd like something quieter or prefer to rest. D. Tell them they're boring. C. A resident asks you to call their preacher. What should you do? A. Say it's not allowed. B. Refuse. C. Help them contact the preacher or notify the nurse. D. Laugh. C. During care, a resident winces and say that hurts. What should you do first? A. Keep going. B. Tell them it doesn't hurt. C. Stop immediately and ask where it hurts. D. Ignore it. C. A resident says I never get to decide anything around her. What should your response be? A. That's not true. B. You're being dramatic. C. What would you like to decide today? D. Nothing can change. C.